everyone, Rose here, and in this video I'd like to introduce you to Oscillator SEM V, a stunningly authentic recreation of one of the most iconic analog synths in electronic music history. In this tutorial, we'll take a deep dive into what makes SEM V so special. We'll explore its redesigned sound engine, powerful voice architecture, signature filter, modulation tools, and creative features to help you unlock its full expressive potential. Let's get started. SEM V is a next-generation virtual instrument that faithfully captures the sound and feel of the legendary Oberheim SEM, while expanding it into a full 8-voice polysynth with advanced modulation and performance controls. In this brand new version 3, Oscillator has rebuilt the engine from the ground up using our state-of-the-art modeling techniques for enhanced realism with continuously running oscillators, authentic analog modeled envelopes, and redefined filter behavior. With vintage mode and pair-voice architecture, SEM V delivers rich, dynamic analog textures that feel alive and expressive. Let's listen to some sounds to get a sense of what SEM V can do. Now, let's take a closer look at what powers this instrument. SEM V sound begins with the 2-voltage controlled oscillators. The original hardware gives you a choice of either sawtooth or pulse waveforms, but Oscillator SEM V lets you smoothly blend between these two waveforms for increased sonic possibilities, as well as adjust pitch and pulse width. At the heart of the interface, the mixer section lets you blend levels from VCO1, VCO2, the sub-oscillator, and noise generator independently, feeding them directly into the iconic SEM Filter section. You can detune the oscillators slightly for a chorus-like movement or offset their pitch by semitones for musical intervals. Waveform blending offers subtle to extreme tonal shaping, while pulse width control introduces a vocal-like character and analog richness. SEM V offers powerful modulation of oscillator pitch and pulse width using its LFO and envelopes. Set the LFO to modulate pitch for classic vibrato or pulse width for rich animated pads. For deeper movement, try using envelope 2 to dynamically shift oscillator pitch or create expressive sweeps. And because SEM V's LFO can reach up to 300 Hz, you can even push the FM-like territory with audio rate modulation. Activate Oscillator Sync to lock VCO2's cycle to VCO1. As you raise VCO2's pitch, you'll hear harmonically rich, edgy waveforms full of character. For even more intensity, modulate VCO2's frequency with envelope 2, or the LFO, to create growling leads, ripping basses, or metallic overtones. The sub-oscillator adds low in power and can be set to sine, sol, or square waveforms. It tracks VCO1 and includes range settings for fundamental reinforcement or deep bass layering. The noise generator introduces white noise for percussive sounds, gritty textures, or atmospheric layers. Blend between sub and noise using the mix control. Both can be run simultaneously for expanded textures. In the Setting tab, you'll find precise phase controls. Enable phase retrigger to lock oscillator phase per note, or disable it for free running motion and warm analog drift. Adjust phase offsets between VCOs to emphasize or cancel harmonics and sculpt your sound's harmonic profile. All oscillator outputs pass through SEM's legendary state variable filter. Morph continuously between low-pass notch and high-pass modes, or enable bandpass for focused frequency shaping. Control the filter's cutoff, resonance, and mode position to sculpt the tone. SEM V's analog modeled filter is smooth, warm, and flexible, perfect for sweeping pads, punchy basses, or resonant leads. Cutoff can be modeled by envelopes 1 or 2, the LFO or keyboard tracking. Use short envelopes for acid-style basses, slow sweeps for ambient textures, or audio rate LFO modulation for intense filter FM. Set keyboard tracking to 100% to maintain harmonic relationships across the keyboard. A great technique when tuning the filter to a specific frequency. Each SEM V voice is completely independent, mirroring the incredible legacy of the Oberheim 8-voice system. We've added per-voice control over level, pan, and drive, ideal for expressive playing and modulation. The voice panel to the right allows you to adjust per voice level, drive, pan, and hold, each of which can be modulated separately for ultra-expressive performance setups. Use velocity to modulate level for dynamic playing, or apply the voice modulator to subtly spread pan and drive for a rich stereo field and analog style variation. Add analog character with the vintage section. Detune oscillator pitch, vary filter cutoff, and resonance per voice, offset envelope timing, and introduce analog-style keyboard tracking inconsistencies. Use the vintage knob in the lower right corner to control the overall analog instability across all voices, ideal for dialing in just the right amount of character and movement. All of this is controlled via a single vintage macro knob, letting you dial in anything from a lightly aged synth to a totally wild, unstable machine. SEM V includes two ADR envelopes. Envelope 1 is routed to amplitude by default, while envelope 2 can be freely assigned. Envelope 1, labeled VCA, is pre-routed to control amplitude, just like the original SEM hardware. Use fast attacks and short decays for plucks and basses, or long, slow curves for evolving paths. These analog-style envelopes are snappy, smooth, and pick up from the current level, just like real hardware. The LFO features a smooth triangle waveform with both a limited range that accurately matches the original hardware and an extended Hertz Plus mode with a huge range up to 3000 Hz. It can run freely or sync to your DAW for a rhythmic modulation. Use it for vibrato, tremolo, pulse width modulation, or audio rate effects. Enable LFO reset for consistent modulation per note, and assign the mod wheel to control its depth. Choose from mono or poly modes up to 8 voices. Mono retrig and legato are perfect for basses and leads, while full polyphony brings out the power of SEM V's voice engine. Enable unison to stack up to 8 voices per note. Adjust detune and spread to create Reese basses, Hoover leads, or ultra-wide synth stacks. You'll find the Portamento control on the left, ready for expressive pitch slides in mono or poly modes. Add pitch glide between notes using Portamento, ideal for cinematic glide effects, expressive solos, or retro-futuristic textures. You can also change the Portamento mode in the side panel between per note for continuous slides between notes, or per voice for a more natural behavior in polyphonic playing. SEM V's multi-arp lets you stack up to 4 arpeggiator lanes at once for rich, complex motion. On the main panel, you can quickly set the rate and gate for immediate pattern shaping. Open the Advanced panel to dive deeper. Choose from predefined patterns or draw your own, adjust scale, and pick from advanced, classic, or creative directions. Each lane offers transportation, decimal octave ranges, and a start offset for shifting sequence timing. In the rhythm section, tweak sequence length, retrig, and rate for evolving grooves. The notes section lets you randomize velocity, gate, and octave, and add repeats for dynamic phrasing. At the bottom, a visual display shows exactly how each arp lane behaves, perfect for fine-tuning complex patterns. Right after the multi-arp, SEM V features a powerful and versatile effects section, giving you 4 independent slots to shape your sound even further. Each slot can be loaded with one of the 17 high-quality studio-grade effects, including delay, reverb, distortion, chorus, phaser, multiband compression, and more. These effects cover everything from subtle warmth and space to bold creative transformations, whether you're after vintage color, rhythmic movement, or intense texture shifts. Each slot includes its own dry-wet control, and effects can be reordered simply by dragging and dropping, giving you full flexibility to craft the perfect signal chain. Head into Advanced panel, and you'll find 3 additional modulation sources to bring more motion and life to your sounds. You can pick from ADSR, function generator, random, mod sequencer, or the voice modulator. Each of these can be mapped to virtually any parameter. Just set up your modulator and drag it onto a target control and dial in the modulation amount. The function generator is a freeform, drawable envelope. It's perfect for sculpting custom shapes, whether it's soft fades or punchy steps. The mod sequencer works like a value-based automation lane. It's ideal for stepped modulation or pattern-based movement. Random as unpredictable fluctuations, ideal for analog-style drift, organic textures, or evolving timbres. The voice modulator assigns predefined values to each voice, enabling per-voice modulation to fully control each voice. This allows you to quickly program each voice uniquely, as you would have done on a SEM 2, 4, or 8 voice. What makes this system even more powerful is that you can modulate the modulators themselves, stacking movements to create deeply animated and expressive patches. Keyboard Modulation SEM V also includes a dedicated keyboard modulation section, letting you shape your sound based on how you play. Use velocity, aftertouch, or MPE expression to modulate filters, pitch, volume, and more. Great for live dynamics or expressive layering. And finally, macros give you the power to move multiple parameters at once using a single control. Assign a macro to things like filter cutoff and FX level, and you've got a custom performance knob ready to go. The macro system is intuitive and flexible, making it easy to tweak, automate, or perform your sound live with precision and ease. And that wraps up our deep dive into Arturia's SEM V, a bold, expressive, and faithful evolution of a true analog legend. Whether you're crafting punchy synth basses, dreamy analog pads, or bold experimental textures, SEM V brings the iconic Oberheim tone into your DAW with all the depth and movement of the original hardware, and much more. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.